How different is selling on Zoom to selling in the showroom? Is it that different?
Some things are very different, and other things are similar.
Okay.
It's a big topic.
So what's one of the key differences?
The key difference is the communication. So I'll give you some examples of some easy mistakes to make when you're selling on Zoom. What I'm going to call unwitting mistakes. So, and I was making these a few months ago. They're so easy. Let me give an example. You're on Zoom and you start looking at yourself. You can see a picture.
I do that all the time.
Yeah.
After about 20 minutes, I realise I've just been looking at my own face.
Well, don't worry. You're one of 72% of people, Mark, that do that. The majority
Not
of people.
vain, then.
But it's like an obvious thing to do, isn't it? Is look at yourself. Now, of course, while you're looking at yourself, you're looking away from your prospect. No eye contact, which you wouldn't do in real life. The other mistake people make with their eye contact is they look to the person they're speaking to. So on Zoom, if you're looking at the person that you're speaking to as you would in real life, again, you're losing eye contact. So the secret is to get comfortable speaking into the camera.
Yeah.
That's very different to what we do in real life. But it's so important you get comfortable doing that. And then you are actually giving people eye contact when you're speaking directly into the camera.
Yeah, yeah. And it feels quite natural, doesn't it? Because you're looking at a lens like we are here rather than actually at someone's face, really. So I can imagine that being quite difficult. Hi, and welcome back to the Armchair Show. Today I'm joined by Nick Horton from ProfitBox. How you doing, Nick?
Absolutely spectacular. Thank you very
Wow,
much, Mark.
Fantastic. That's got me going.
Yeah, thank you. Pleased to hear it. How are you?
Really well, thank you. Spectacular as well. Tell us a bit about ProfitBox. What do you guys do?
Well, ProfitBox, we work within the motor industry and we help people enhance their bottom line profits by helping individuals find their inner hero.
Okay. And the way you're doing that at the moment, we'll get straight into this. You're doing a lot of Zoom training, aren't you, in terms of Zoom selling training?
Yeah, it was a program we've just launched because of the impact of COVID. So we've just launched How to Sell Cars on Zoom, Mark, which is obviously going to be needed.
What other mistakes do people make on Zoom that you see quite often?
Yeah, the other mistakes that people will make, and again, this is, as I say, it's quite natural, is sometimes you have to be careful because they'll shortcut the process. Because in a digital communication, things can move quicker than they do in real life. So, for example, when you're meeting people in the showroom, things can, it's a relatively slow pace sometimes. You know, you're tactile, you're having loose conversations. It's not the same on Zoom.
No.
So things tend to move a little bit quicker. And if you're not mindful of that, what you'll find yourself doing is shortcutting your process.
How have you found that the industry has adapted to that in terms of being a concept? Is it something that seems that people are kind of scared of, or that have they embraced it?
A combination of both of those things, Mark. I think it's like any new technology, new innovation. You're going to get early adopters all of the time. So we've already got early adopters. We've run our first training course already with the Mercedes-Benz retailer. Okay. So you're going to get early adopters. You're going to get at the opposite scale, you're going to get the retailers and the manufacturers that think it's not really needed, we're doing okay. And then in the middle, you'll get some people that could be swayed either way. Okay. Now, for me, the early adopters, what they're going to do, what you and I will see over the years, is they're going to reshape how retail works in the automotive industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think customers like this way of selling or dislike it, or is it a mixture of opinion that you see on that?
Well, let me share some statistics with you. You know, we've had Deloitte come out in the past couple of months that have said that 18% of car buyers have no intention of stepping into a showroom when they buy the next vehicle. Now, of course, those 18% of people will be a combination of digital purchasers. Yeah. And there'll be some people nervous about COVID. And then Auto Trader have come out, and again, last couple of months, have said that a third of prospects feel nervous or uncomfortable about walking into a car showroom. Okay. So what we need to consider then is, this Zoom isn't going to replace the people that will walk into a car showroom. You know, this isn't about selling to the people that walk into the car showroom. This is about selling to people that aren't walking into your car showroom. It's giving them a choice to make contact with you so you can sell to them. With
the whole remote selling thing, is that something that you think that's going to be here to stay for good? I know we're living in very uncertain times. I'm going to try and avoid all these cliches in a minute, but we are. It's very different at the moment. And I guess there's probably some listeners of our podcast who are thinking, it's okay, we'll give it another 6 months and then we won't need to worry about Zoom. Is that the case, or do you think this is here for the long haul?
I think it's here for the long haul, based on what we're picking up from the media. So, for example, technology adoption in the past few months has been accelerated to the point where the experts thought it would be in 5 years because of COVID. Yep. And people are getting used to a different way of life, aren't they, Mark? If people got to use Zoom in the lockdown, they went to their granddad's birthday party or they had a coffee with a friend. I actually felt this is okay, you know. A, I can use the technology, and B, I can actually enjoy myself.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, it just isn't going to go back to how it used to be.
No.
There's going to be a demand for this digital live experience. Not with all of the customers, but if it's 20% of the customers, I propose that's 20% too many to miss out on the opportunity to sell to.
I agree. So with that in mind then, so again, there'll be the people listening to this thinking, this sounds great, but how do I get set up with a Zoom? You know, what do I need? So in terms of gear and that kind of stuff, you know, do they need to come as we have here with lots of cameras and things and lights and stuff, or can you get away with a laptop? You know, what would a dealership need to have a decent Zoom setup for selling?
Okay, yes, it's a really good point, and a good question, because that will be crossing people's minds, because many of the retailers will be starting from scratch here. Just as we did a few months ago. We were using Zoom a few months ago, but nowhere near to the level we are now. You know, we've conducted massive research on how to sell virtually, and that includes setting your Zoom system up. So we'd advocate a Zoom room for a starting point, somewhere in the business where it can be a quiet environment. Now, there are several pieces of equipment that are needed, but the essential starting points, the key things you need, first of all, would be a webcam. Now, we operate Apple technology, and the computer that I personally use in the office is Apple Mac. I think it's just short of £2,000. So I naively thought the camera in there was good enough to record on.
That's very naive.
Very naive. Thank you, Mark. And it's an easy...
As an Apple man, I can say that, because I've been continually disappointed by them on that. But yeah.
I think it's the same on most laptops and computers.
Yeah.
They do a reasonable job. However, if you want to deliver a first impression that's immaculate, that breeds trust and confidence into your prospect, that makes them want to continue the conversation with you, you need it to be broadcast quality almost. And the only way to achieve that is with a webcam.
Yep.
So Logitech seem to be the leaders with this, and we'd advocate a Logitech Brio 4K as a webcam. And only when you've got that set up and you see the difference in recording quality compared to the camera in your laptop or computer, do you realise the need for the webcam. Yeah. So webcam's crucial.
How do you see the industry changing in the next 10 years? If we look at the dealership of the future, say 2030, how do you think that will look?
That's a big question. What I would say to that, Mark, is at the moment I would say there'll be many changes. There'll be changes to the supply chain, the distribution model. There'll be many changes in that respect. There'll probably be a consolidation over that period of time. The technology of the vehicles will change significantly because, of course, the laws that are changing. One of the things that will change is the digital footprint, the digital impact, the use of digital in the automotive industry. I think that will just escalate and continue to do so over the next few years. But you know, one thing won't change, and that is the importance of how people like to be treated.
Yep.
And many of the sales skills, whether I'm on Zoom or face-to-face, won't disappear.
No.
We're still going to need salespeople, aren't we?
Absolutely.
Whether it's digitally or in the showroom, we're still going to need salespeople.
Yep.
But they need to be salespeople, not servers. And of course, there's a big difference.
That's, I think that's quite a good point to end on there, Nick, definitely. Thanks so much for coming on. If people want to find out more about ProfitBox, where should they go?
Yeah, go to the website, so profitbox.co.uk. You'll find it easy to make contact with us through there. You'll find some free resources you can download with some sales tips as well. You'll find out what our clients think of us and, of course, what kind of programs we deliver. So by all means, visit profitbox.co.uk. It'd be great to hear from you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolute
Really appreciate
pleasure.
it. And if you've been watching or listening, thank you very much. And just remember to hit the subscribe button and you'll never miss an episode. See you next time. Thank you.